We introduce you to the online market for Made in Africa products. Let's move on now to two enterprising young African women who have started an online African emporium called Vuuqa. Now you may ask, what's new about a digital marketplace? Well, everything that is traded on Vuuqa has to have a connection with the African continent. So either it's designed or made in Africa or imported by a local supplier. Here's CGTN's Julie Shire reporting.
Vuuqa is an online African marketplace started by a pair of female MBA students. African consumers often look for locally made products, but at times it can be hard to find.
We started to really look at the market and realize that there was no centralized location to get African brands or African products, which means that you would ideally have to depend on someone you know or somebody traveling, or you would have to visit that country on your own. So that's where the inception came, and we started to get a few stuff from Kenya and bring them here and sell them to people.
It wasn't long before the idea took off. In the last year, the online platform has signed up 20 suppliers, mostly in South Africa and Kenya.
We will sell anything as long as it's quality and it's made in Africa by Africans for Africa. But not necessarily for Africa, for the rest of the world, because you might think only Africans want to buy this thing, but there's a huge interest from countries like the USA, Australia, UK.
But dealing with multiple currencies and stringent border controls has brought some challenges in moving goods around the continent.
The way Vuuqa works is that we dispatch our products from a centralized location, which is in Johannesburg, to the world. And so we would need them to send their products to us. And then the second challenge around that is also export. But what happens is that the shipping costs end up being triple the actual product that they're ordering.
But the pair is optimistic that this will change with the push for increased intra-African trade.
We're hoping to be able to digitize as many African businesses as possible. That's the vision we see. We see ourselves as almost the thought leaders, the leaders of this industry, and also just imparting knowledge on African brands, on how do you create a brand and how do you take that brand and make it accessible to people beyond your borders.
Online shopping has cottoned on in South Africa, but it's still relatively small compared to other parts of the world. Vuuqa is hoping to capitalize on consumers who look for convenience at the click of a button. Julie Shire, CGTN, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Well, that's it for this edition of Global Business Africa.